Well, good evening, girlfriends. You are in for a treat. Not only are you the first class, you also are going to be the leaders for your chapter. This long effort, as I remember back in 2018, when I stated from all the calls that I received that this was important to girlfriends. And here we are on May 14th, 2020, going through the training for a website that's going to go live on June 15th. And I definitely want to give my extreme appreciation for girlfriend Lunella and her team. We have girlfriend, and I always want to make sure I don't forget all the names. We have girlfriend Lori Lewis from the Brooklyn chapter. We have girlfriend Miranda Richardson from the Las Vegas chapter. We have girlfriend Priscilla Wynn Brown from the Trenton chapter. We have girlfriend Elizabeth Hilton from the Cleveland chapter. Girlfriend Charlotte Henderson from the New Orleans chapter, girlfriend Cynthia Andrews from the Seattle chapter, and girlfriend Rashida Thomas from the Washington chapter. You cannot imagine how thrilled I am that this is a reality, and you will be on the front lines for your chapter, not only in training them, updating them, but you will get an opportunity to play around with the website and find those little tweaks and turns that we may have to refine. But what better 27 women to do that? And I think you're going to have fun in identifying all the good stuff that those 8 women have put together for our beloved organization. So thank you so much for taking on the responsibility of being the tech rep for your chapter, and take notes. I think this is also going to be recorded, and we're going to have a second training that's on Tuesday, as well as a videotape by our vendor, Amber. So thank you so very much, and let's get to this fabulous website.
All right, thank you. Thank you, girlfriend Margaret.
Thank you.
So girlfriend Margaret swindled me into this, I will say. No. So we have been working on this website. For those of you who've been kind of on this journey with us, you know, we started off with the survey. We wanted to get a voice of customers. Tracy knows that that's a good IT kind of thing. We want to get the voice of customer. And so we got your input, and, you know, we asked, you told us, and you kept telling us, and you told us, and you told us some more. So we got all of that information, and we incorporated it into our roadmap. And what you'll see today is a result of the feedback you gave us, and, you know, the end result of that. And so we've been working at this since really September of 2018. And so we're excited to reveal this website to you today and kind of walk you through the functionality of it. And so with that, we contracted with Amber Lee Turner out of Nashville, a web developer that has worked on a number of websites, and she has really went above and beyond the call of duty for this. And I just, you know, really appreciate anytime I gave her a call, she said, no problem. Any challenge I gave her, she jumped on it. And so we are almost at the finish line. And believe it or not, girlfriends, we have I'm going to say 99% of the chapters we have information updated for. So give yourselves a hand on that one. And we're working on that 1%, because we think we'll have it, have that person or that chapter in by the time we launch on June 15th. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amber, and she's going to share her screen with us. And as girlfriend Margaret said, we're going to we're taping this one. We're doing another training on Tuesday for those, mostly to accommodate the West Coast. But we're also going to have a tutorial that's embedded in the website. So just in case you have like, you know, have a senior moment like I have from time to time, you will be able to go back and get some tutorial kind of components, okay? So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Amber. And Amber is right here. And so go for it.
All right, let me go ahead and get my screen situated here, share the screen with you all. All righty, can anybody see it? This is the home page. Hopefully it's working right.
Yeah.
So I am going to walk through different levels of the website, basically the public side, the private side that all the girlfriends have access to, and then walk you through how to change your information for your chapter and for the girlfriends that are in your chapter. So just I want to caveat with this saying that we are still developing the site. There's still things where you're tweaking, so you may notice from time to time something out of place. Just be aware that this is still in development, and so we are tweaking things. It's like an onion. Once we fix one thing, once we get one thing settled, we keep going down and down, layer and layer. So just be aware of that. But pretty much we got everything ready to go. Like Lynella said, pretty much every chapter's in here. There's only a couple that we're missing. So with that, this is the home page of our website. And I'm going to slowly scroll through here. We have an introduction. Talking about the Girlfriends Inc. And that will link to the history page, which I'll show you in a minute. We have at a glance, so it focuses on the numbers, like when you were founded, your chapters, how many states there's chapters in, how many members. We then have a short greetings from our national president, which does link to Margaret's full letter, and I will show you that as well. Then at the bottom has a list of chapters going through a slideshow, so people can shift through on the slide on the chapters at the bottom. And you'll see that these pictures that are in the background, you actually can control which picture shows up here. And I'm going to go into further detail, but you'll actually get to pick the picture that actually appears here. So this is on the home page, and of course you end with the footer that has the navigation and contact information again. So I'm going to show you just a couple of pages on the public side of the site. So everything that you see until I tell you otherwise is going to be what the whole world can see. So we're going to start with our history page. And it has a nice, lovely picture of the first conclave, along with the founder and a little bit of information about the history. We have a leadership team page, which has the executive board photo. And then we have each member of the executive team, all the leadership, and their photos. And these can be shifted out whenever there's new leadership, the pictures and all that can be changed. So we have that lovely grid of ladies. I'm going to show you just another page. So pretty much all the pages are set up the same way. It's just the content changes. So here is the student scholarship page, or the things about the Girlfriends Fund. And so that pretty much covers a lot of what you see on the front end of the site. We have by the numbers, which was a survey done. And so we have this graphic that Lynella made. We have Margaret's letter, the president's greeting, with her photo and her long form letter that's linked from the home page. So that pretty much covers all the things that are on the public facing side of the site, so everybody can see this regardless if they're logged in or not. So from here, I am going to log in as a chapter technology rep. So all of you will get a special login for your chapter, a login and a password. And this will give you access to be able to change your members, change anything about your chapter page. All of this I'm fixing to go over, but you're going to get this login. So I'm going to log in as if I'm the tech rep for Trenton. And so under members only, you'll click in the member login page. That same link is the link that you'll log into for both being a chapter rep and a girlfriend. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in the information. If I can spell today, there we go. Now, when you first log in as a tech rep, you're going to be sent to the tech rep how-to page. So this, we're still writing the content for this page, but this is going to have the, like today's training video on there, any additional videos. It's going to give you all the information you need to know how to edit anything and everything to do with your chapter, including how to add a girlfriend, how to change a girlfriend from each chapter, how to change like a photo, do password resets, how to edit your chapter page. We're going to have all this content here, and this will be the first page that you log into, or when you log in, this will be the first page you get to, but it's also underneath the navigation as well. You'll have your own link here, so you'll always have access to those resources, or to the how-to videos in written instruction.
And just to add to that, if let's say next year you have a different tech rep, that password will be passed on to that tech rep.
Yes.
For your chapter.
And so from here, since this is where you kind of land when you first log in, I'm going to walk you through the rest of the private part of the site. So everything you see from here on is the private side of the site, so you have to be logged in to see this. So the first thing we're going to start with is the chapter listing page. So this is going to list all the chapters. And you remember how on the home page I said that you can control the image that appears at the bottom. Well, the image that appears at the bottom for your chapter is the same picture you'll see here listed for your chapter. So this is the group photo that we asked everybody for their chapter to represent them. You can see we have everybody in here. And so everybody's chapter, I'm just going to scroll through the rest of these and scroll back up. Everybody has such nice group photos here. I like it. So I'm going to show you an example of the Buffalo chapters page. And so this page right here, every chapter, it looks the same way. So everybody has a slideshow of photos. They have a little bit of information about their chapter, and then they have all their girlfriends listed below. So here's where you can just see everybody that's in each chapter. But this is the page that you'll actually get to control. Actually, the top half of this page, you'll actually get to control. You can add photos of your chapter. For instance, they have a couple of different group photos here. They have an older one. I'm assuming this is their charter members. But you'll have control of adding the photos in here and organizing the layout of them. Now, the very first photo you pick for your main group photo or your main chapter photo will appear first. But photos second through however many rest, you get control of the order of it. You can also control the charter members on the right-hand side, your key civic projects, and important facts. So you'll be able to change all of that. So now I'm going to show you what a member profile looks like, or what a girlfriend's profile looks like. So when you click into a girlfriend's profile, you'll get all of their information. So here we have Mama Baskin. And so we have all of her information here that you can look at. And so you can get the address, email, find out date of birth, when they were installed, if they're a chapter officer, all those details. So I'm going to explain how you can change this information, but in just a second, but I'm going to go over one other important part of the members only section. We have other pages here, such as branding assets and girlfriend resources. So this has all of your logos and everything, colors. This is available for all girlfriends, not just tech reps. You also have girlfriend resources here that have like the handbook and the directory and the writing style guide. This is also available for everybody that's logged in, not just for tech reps. But the most powerful part of this website is the member directory. So here we have where it is searchable. You can search anything that you want to. So for instance, we're going to run a search to find out who has a birthday today. So we're going to type in May 14th, click enter, and these are the 4 girlfriends that have a birthday today. So basically anything that you type in the search box is actually going to run through everything about that girlfriend. and it's going to pull up any information that could have May 14th in there. So for instance, if you type in a name, it's going to search not only the girlfriend's name, but it's going to search every other field in there, especially like partner's name. So this is great so that you can find out any information about any girlfriend that you want. So these 4 girlfriends have birthdays today, but we're going to click into Marion Franklin here, and we're going to see more information about her. So we can see all of her information, her email address and everything. But another cool feature is if you're on a member's profile, anything that you see in green here can actually be searched except the email address. The email address is linked, so it can automatically open up in your email program so you can email them. But everything else that's here in green, you can actually run a search for. So for her, she's actually an educator and retired, so you can see you can search by either or because she's got it comma separated. So if we want to find out anybody else in the member directory that could be an educator, we can actually click that, and it's going to take us straight to another search running the whole database of who has educator as a occupation. And so we have 179 members, and so you can scroll through here, click anybody that you want, and then you can actually page through. Now you'll see right here, one girlfriend does not have a photo, and this actually is something that broke in the last hour on the site as I was tweaking things. The girlfriends that don't have a photo, it'll look like that by default. But because we're still tweaking and developing things, that is something that we need to fix, of course. But you can run searches, and that's probably the most powerful part of this website, is being able to search for just about anything. You can search for name, status, chapter, year of installation, occupation, pretty much anything your heart desires you can search for. So let's say, who was installed in 2019? You can type in 2019, and we had 59 girlfriends that's in the database was installed last year. If you want to find out who is a chapter president, you can type in chapter president, and this is going to search for all those that are current or have listed that they were a past chapter president. So it is going to search the entire profile for the words chapter president. So that pretty much covers everything on the website that both technology reps and girlfriends get access to. So does anybody have any questions at all to do with the site, with the public facing site, with the private facing site? Does anybody have any questions?
What's under the community service?
Community service has national civic projects and student scholarships.
Okay.
You want to click through that?
Yeah, we can click the national civic projects. I think it's the only other one I didn't show you. And so we'll have information about all the different, we need to tweak this page. I think, Lanella, we have more content we needed to add here. But we have the Girlfriends Fund, and then in the smaller parts, we have all the different organizations that you guys have donated to. And then the other part of this community service with student scholarships, it's more of a focus on the Girlfriend Fund information.
And it links directly to the Girlfriend Fund page.
Yes, if I was to click down here, it actually opens in a new tab and goes straight to the website.
Will each girlfriend be given an individual access code?
Yes. So each girlfriend, they have an account, but they do not have a password. So when they want to initially set up their account, they will do what's called a password reset. And so on the login screen, they'll either type in the username or email address, and every chapter is going to get their usernames back, because there were instances where we had to change usernames. So you're going to get a list of usernames and email addresses. They'll need to use one or the other, click password reset. They'll get a link sent to their email to change their password. And I'm going to talk about the girlfriends that don't have an email address in a minute, what you do in those situations. But that's how each girlfriend will initially log in. That way they can set their own password at that time. You also have the ability to set the password for them if you want. But depending on how large your chapter is, you may want to force them to do the password reset on their own. And if they have problems, you can reset their password to what they want on your own.
Is the access or authority level different for the tech rep versus a member?
Yeah, so the tech rep has the ability to change their page and change any member's information. A girlfriend can only change their personal information. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the tech rep, they also have the authority to add new girlfriends.
Yes.
So for example, if you bring on some new girlfriends next year, you would be the one that would add them in.
So we
initially.
have, tech reps have edit capabilities,
Mhm.
and members can view and edit their own personal information.
That is correct.
Thank you.
So does anybody else have any questions about the website on its
Did you
own?
add questions as well?
Okay.
Let's see. How many chapter pictures can you post?
Unlimited amount, but you have to have a minimum of one.
Mhm.
So
And, and then the next question is, should we list every charter member's name? How many chapter pictures can you post? Oh, okay, that's the same question.
yeah,
Can
the
you-
charter members, you can list as many as you need to. I believe we already have everybody's in there, but if it needs to be edited, there is no limit on that. The only thing I do say on that, I think it logged me out.
Yeah, can you go back to the
Yeah,
member
it did.
page?
I'm gonna go back to Buffalo's page. So the only thing I will say on that is for anything under charter members, key civic projects, and important fact, just be aware of how much content is there, because we don't want this block to be too lengthy and it starts shoving everything down the page. So on some chapters, I went in and edited things and tried to condense some things down. Some chapters will need to do some of that editing themselves, and I've made notes of that. And so those chapters that do need to edit will already know that they need to. But you can add as many charter members in here as you need to. You can change the key civic projects or the important fact. So if your important fact changes, or if you feel like something else should be more important there, you can edit that.
Is the first photo of the slideshow also the one that is in that circle where all the chapters, you can scroll to the right and see all the chapters?
Yes, ma'am.
That's the same photo. And can you click on the chapters at that point and go to the
Not on the home page, and the reason is because these chapter pages are private pages.
Got it.
So we didn't want the public to be clicking and trying to get into a private site. So the ones on the front page are not clickable.
So if we wanted a different photo there, we just make it the first photo in the slideshow.
Yeah, and I'm going to go over that. There's a special place for that. So you'll know which one's your feature main image and then all your additional slides. So I'm going to go over that here in just a little bit, exactly where you will do that at.
And so I just wanted to address one question, just to or clarify. You'll have your own login as a tech rep. You'll have a tech rep login, but you'll also have your personal login for your own page. So there'll be two logins that you'll be managing. The tech rep ones will get you to that higher, level of engagement.
Okay.
And then the other one. So someone else asked, can members add additional photos of themselves as well?
No. They can only add one photo of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that if that is something that people may want in the future, we may have to look at that as something that we add to the site later on.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, a girlfriend can only add their main photo.
Right. They can add a new photo of themselves. Like you can always say, listen, I don't like this photo anymore. I'm prettier now. Let me add a new photo. So you could do that.
And I think there's going to be a majority of girlfriends that are going to see their photos and may want to change them. And the reason is because a lot of them are blurry. Because the size that we're putting them on the website is bigger than what was in the directory. And a lot of the photos we got were from the directory. And so when you take a tiny photo and you make it bigger, they're blurry. I picked Buffalo's chapter as an example to show you guys because they had high res images. I don't think any of them here are blurry. But I do think there will be girlfriends that see their photo that may want to change it, just because they're blurry or because it's being cropped in a circle, it may crop them weird, that kind of thing. So they have the ability to delete their photo and not have a photo at all, or as we encourage people to have a photo, they can change that photo. They can upload it. They'll have the ability to crop exactly where they want it and save it.
Mhm.
So Amber, just to be clear, a individual girlfriend can change her picture. She does not need the assistance of the tech rep.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I'm going to walk through, I'm actually going to show you how we're going to do it on Lanella's profile if Lanella wanted to upload her own photo. I've went in here and deleted her photo, so I'm going to walk you through how she would add her own photo. And that's exactly how the girlfriend will be able to do it on their account.
Okay.
And the same way the tech reps can do it, the same way the girlfriends can do it, the tech reps can do it that way too.
Okay.
Amber, underneath the individual profiles, can we add additional offices for the individual member? Like for example, I have a girlfriend who is the treasurer as well as the girlfriend fund liaison, but I couldn't put that in the spreadsheet.
Right, so that is something we've added. We've actually added several new fields. And I know for a fact on Lanella's, we've added something to her profile. So on hers, she was a past chapter recording secretary. So we now have a field where they can list that information, other girlfriend information. So we have several new fields that I'm going to go over. One is like dictating what chapter you transferred from. If you're a daughter, you have the opportunity to type in your mother's name. We have a block there for other information. So if you wanted to add children's names or like your partner's occupation, those types of information that was in the directory, you have the opportunity to add that and past girlfriend information. So if if you were a national office or if you were a chapter office, you can list that as a past office, and you can even list the year. It's like a free form box, so they're free to add whatever information that they want.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
And I'm going to show you exactly where that's at for both sides of it too, because tech reps can change it in 2 places, members can change it only in 1, and you'll see what I mean by that in this next step.
And Amber, just before you go on, one other question was, how will the members login information be issued?
We are going to give each chapter tech rep, basically we're going to give them their spreadsheet right back. We did make changes to spreadsheets. There were girlfriends that had like the same name, so we had to edit their username. So they're actually going to get a spreadsheet that has all their usernames. So that's how they'll find out how they log in. So they can use either the username that's on that spreadsheet or the email address they provided, and the spreadsheet has that too. So the spreadsheet is very helpful for the tech reps because they can see exactly what information is in there outside of the other fields that we've added. So the other girlfriend information that is not in there in the spreadsheet, but everything else, you'll have a high level glance of exactly how it is on the website at June 1st. So you'll have that information. You can give each girlfriend their username to
Okay.
log in.
Okay.
So each chapter is going to get a packet, a specialized packet with their spreadsheet, with all their information that they need. Anything special we had to do about that chapter. For instance, if we had to change a girlfriend's username. If there's missing information, like it's going to have a list of those missing pictures or missing birthdays or something like that. There's going to be a list. If the if the slideshow cut people off in a photo, I try to make a note of that as well. So each chapter is going to get a detailed list of special things about their chapter that they'll have 2 weeks to edit and change. They'll also get their login and the tech rep login and password.
Any other questions before we move to the next piece? Okay.
Okay. So I'm already logged in as if I am the Trenton chapter tech rep. So what I'm going to do now is basically talk about how we're going to edit somebody's profile. So since I'm already on Lanella's profile, some different scenarios it could be, you need to edit their address, edit phone number. So the way that I'm going to do it right now It's the exact same way that tech reps can do it and members can do it. So this step right here, everybody can do it this way. So what we're going to do here is we're going to upload Linella's photo. So here, whenever a girlfriend logs in, they'll have the same buttons up here that you do. You'll see where it says profile and settings. There's a view, edit, and change profile photo. So tech reps will also get these links, but on a girlfriend's profile, they'll see the same links too for their own profile. So for Linella's, we are actually going to change their profile photo. And we have this box where it says select your file. And so I'm going to go ahead and select Linella's photo that I have here and open it up. You'll see that it's uploading. And it's giving me this, giving me the picture that I uploaded and a preview of how it looks. So you'll see that there's a bounding box there, and of course it cropped too tight. So the bounding box you can actually move around. And girlfriends have this ability too. They can also make it bigger, so they can actually expand it, move it around, and crop it so that it looks good. So while I'm here discussing cropping of photos, we're trying to keep everybody's photos consistent. So the ideal cropping for a photo is right at the shoulders or at the bust, or basically where the armpit starts. It's not a nice way to say it, but that's pretty much where you want the cropping of the photo to be, and up, and you want a little bit of space above the girlfriend's head. So if you're able to do that in a photo, that's the ideal photo that we're looking for to kind of keep everybody's photo consistent. However, not all girlfriends have those types of photos, so the best way is we want to have as much of the face as we can in that photo. So that's where the second example comes in. You want to have a little bit of space below the chin, a little bit of space above the hair if possible. And then worst case, or if there's not available photo for that, try to get as much of the face centered in that photo as you can. So this will be in both the tech reps and the girlfriends how-to information so that they know what kind of photos look best. I'm gonna go back to Linella's, and we have it cropped so that her face is in the photo, and you'll see the preview here. And so we're gonna go ahead and click crop photo. It says your new photo was uploaded successfully, and you can see that her photo is now in there. So the same way I just did this is the same way the girlfriends can do it. So we're going to go back and look at the kind of information that she can change. So on here we have all of her information. We have it split up into personal details. So this is like her address, her phone number, that kind of information. And then we have girlfriend membership details. So that's her year of installation, her status, and that type of thing. So we already have her information in here, but if she needed to add anything or change anything, she can do that here. For instance, if she wanted to add a home phone number, it's here. And this is the format that we're using for everybody. So it has detailed instructions on how we want that formatted. Same with birthday, occupation. And here's that other field that I was talking about. So you can have whatever information here that you want that's personal to you. So children's names, spouse occupation, anything that you want other girlfriends to know. And just be aware that this field is also searchable. So anything you type here, if somebody types it into search, it's also going to pop up your profile too. But this is a new field that we added for anybody who wants to share that kind of information. So this is the personal information side of things. They can edit anything they want and click Save Changes. Now for the girlfriend membership details, we've added quite a few things here. So they can click that tab and their member girlfriend information comes up. So they can change what status they are if they need to. They can change the year of installation if it's incorrect or for any reason like that, or add it if it's not in there. They can mark if they're a transfer. So if they are a transfer, they can simply select transfer. If they are a transfer, we have a list of chapters here that they can select which chapter they transferred from last or most recent. So there's a whole list of them here for them. If they are a daughter, they can click that they are a daughter, and they can type in the mother's name so that, whenever somebody sees a profile and say, okay, they transferred from New Jersey, or I am the daughter of this girlfriend. they have that information. If they're a charter member, same thing, they can mark that they're a charter member. They have all these options for the chapter roles. Now, there was some girlfriends that had 2 roles, and if that is the case, they need to pick the more dominant one here and put the other one down in the box below. They can just write current and list that chapter role there. And same with national officer. There's all the national officer roles, and they will click if they are a current one. And of course, here's that same box that we talked about, other girlfriend information. So this is important for recording any past offices that you may have had, or any kind of special, anything to do with the girlfriends. With your membership, you can actually type that in. It's a free form box, so feel free to type however you need to there. If you or a girlfriend needs to reset their password or change their email address, email address is actually in 2 spots. That's the only field that's in 2 spots that you need to change. You'll go back to personal information, change the email address there. So that's the public email address. The email address attached to their account, and to change their password is under settings. So they can click settings. In order to change your email or password, you have to type in your current password. Now, when girlfriends initially log in, they're doing a password reset, which is a little different, and I'll show you that. They'll type in their username, click lost password, and it'll get an email sent to them. But if they wanted to change their password, you'll type in the current one, click generate password, and it's going to pop up a password here, but you do not have to use it. I do want to stress that. Just because it gives you a random password, you do not have to use it. You can actually just clear it out and start typing in whatever you want it to be. So I'm just going to type in girlfriends, and there is going to be a little meter there telling you it's a weak password or strong password. Of course, we want strong passwords, but there's that little meter there.
So there's no 2-point authentication on this though, right?
No.
Great.
That can probably be something that we do in the future, but for right now, there's no 2-step authentication. So you want to make sure that, and stress to your girlfriends, that it is a strong password. Now, another thing we are going to implement is to even be able to get to the login screen. You're going to have to type in a password. Everybody's going to get the same password and username. We just don't have it set up on the development server that way. So there is going to be a 2-step way to get into the site, but it's not your typical 2-step authentication where you get a code sent to your phone. This way that we're trying to protect the information that's in the database and not have hackers trying to get in there. But all that information is going to be sent with your packet and everything, so you know what I'm talking about when we have that set up.
Amber, with the spreadsheet that will be forwarded to the tech reps, that initial sheet will have them the opportunity to reset the individual passwords, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Remember.
So, yeah.
Okay. And is there a default username
Mhm.
that they will have? And does that change? Do they change that also, or it stays the same? I don't know. Let's say.
The username cannot be changed.
Okay.
So that cannot be changed by anybody, not even myself. If a girlfriend just does not like whatever username we gave her, which is typically been first and last name, or first and whatever name she had, if for some reason they really just don't want that name anymore, they need to contact me, and I will
Okay.
have to set them up a different account and delete their other one. So that's
Okay.
the only way we can do that. So that is the only information that cannot be changed is username.
Okay.
But passwords can be changed by the girlfriends themselves, the tech reps, and myself. So the way I just walked through everything, the girlfriends have that, they can access and edit everything that way. So can the tech reps. So the tech reps can also do it on the front end of their site as well. So what I want to do is show you what a password reset looks like. Whoops. So I'm going to open this in a different window here. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by password reset. So for the first time a girlfriend wants to log in, they're going to go to the homepage of the website and they're going to click members login. On this screen, they will enter in the username that's on that spreadsheet. Then down here, they're going to see lost your password, okay? The username should already be typed in there if they typed it in on the first screen, but if it's not, they'll type it in here. I can't type. They'll type it in here. So this is the username that's on the spreadsheet that they will be given, and you're going to click Get New Password. For girlfriends that have an email address, they will get it in their inbox within like 2 or 3 minutes. For girlfriends that do not have an email address, I'm going to show you what we've done. So girlfriends that do not have an email address, we've basically giving them kind of like a dummy email address. And it looks like this. Nobody has access to this email. So, you know, if a password reset goes here, it's just going into a void. It's not going to be seen. So if you have a girlfriend that does not have an email address, they can still have an account, but they have to have the email address. So this is how we formatted it. The first part has to be mandatory for every single person. It is the GF Inc. website. The next part is going to be their chapter underscore. And I want to stress that you have to have the plus sign in there. You have to have the plus sign, the chapter, name, underscore, and then their username at gmail.com. This gives them a temporary email address, but they cannot do a password reset through this. So if a girlfriend has an email that looks like this, the tech rep has to change the password for that girlfriend for the first time. Does that make sense?
And I just want to stress the reason why we did this, guys, because there were a lot of girlfriends or older girlfriends who don't have email addresses. And so we had to create something in order for them to be recognized in the system.
Yeah. And if you have a girlfriend that has an email address that looks like this, and they actually do have an email address, or if they create one later, you can actually go in and change it for them, and they can change it too. So if they decide that they want to create like a Gmail account or something, this is changeable. But because we had to have an email address for every girlfriend and everyone had to be a unique email address, we couldn't just use the same one for everybody. This is the system we came up with. This is the system that needs to be followed for any girlfriends that get added that don't have an email address. And this is all the information is going to be under the Tech Rep resource or Tech Rep how-to page to explain this to you. So you don't have to remember it right now. It's going to be on that page exactly how to format it like this.
So it would be plus, instead of plus Albany, it would be plus Trenton, plus Loudon, plus, you know, whatever.
Right.
The chapter. There were a couple questions that came in. I wanted to pause for a minute.
Sure.
One question that came in, will it be possible that girlfriends can create, that chapters can create their own websites using this same template, and we could link to that site from here? Margaret, do you want to answer that?
Yes, I think that's an excellent question, because I know even now we have some girlfriends who have their own website. Certainly, you could copy the format that we have. However, linking back to our homepage will be the only thing that we would allow you to do directly from your website, meaning the public facing page. So if in your local website, you have our, you know, our URL there, so your members can click, it's just going to pop them to the homepage. That's where it stops. And keep in mind, the contractual agreement that we have with January Creatives is just for our website. So if there's anything that's going wrong on your website, we won't get involved in that. So be very, very particular when you decide to do it. I think it's excellent if you want to use our format. We try to make it as customer friendly as possible, but when you put our URL in, you're only going to get as far as the public facing. Any other questions regarding that?
Can tech reps delete members who withdraw or pass away?
No. That is something that a site admin, that needs to be discussed with myself or whoever is a site admin if you do not want the girlfriend there anymore. I do not believe, I think if we only have a deceased member in there, I think it's only like 1 or 2 right now. We did talk about maybe having them in there. But as far as deleting a member, that cannot happen unless you talk to a site rep, because we don't want, you know, any kind of issues there in terms of deleting a girlfriend that wasn't supposed to be deleted and we lost their information. So if there's a situation that comes up where the girlfriend no longer wants to be a part of it, we need to remove them. An email needs to be sent to me and I will handle that.
Okay.
Can you make sure in your written training that you identify the process
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
to the tech reps, what they're supposed to do, what's the expectations, and some type of confirmation that takes place that it has been done?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next question is, can girlfriends include their own websites in the other information area?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, you can, but remember, this is behind a firewall.
Mhm.
So you would not be able to, you know, nobody else would be able to get behind that firewall except other girlfriends.
Right. So if Lanella wanted to add her company website on here, she can go down here to other information and say, like, you know, my company's website,
Mm-hmm.
cooperwilliams.com.
Is there a character limit in that section?
No,
Okay.
they can be as much information. It can be a short bio if they want. They can have whatever information they want here. This is about them personally. And the same thing for the girlfriends field, the other information for the girlfriends field, there's no character limit. They can have whatever they need there. So for instance, if she wanted to add her company website, she can do it that way. And we'll go back and view her profile and see it's appeared there the way that she wrote it.
But again, only other girlfriends would have access.
Right.
Let me be clear about that. Okay. Will the chapter directory be printable from the website?
It is not right now, but that is something I'm currently looking into how to do, because I think that that's pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one of the goals that I have is, as you know, every 5 years we take on this major project of having a directory, and it is an expensive project.
Mm-hmm.
I see that ultimately this will be the source where we will get our directory. Not to say there will not be a handbook or a directory that we know of today, because we're going to still have some girlfriends who will not have access to it, but not in the format now where we send, you know, anywhere between 30 to 50 directories that's, you know, 400 pages or 300 pages. We're moving from that format.
I think I answered all the questions. It wouldn't be a clickable link.
The site looks really good.
And let's see, did I answer everybody's question? If I didn't, jump in there, guys.
I just had a question on when she just typed in hooperwilliams.com. There's not a way to make that a clickable link. They have to copy and paste if they want to go to that website, correct?
Right. And the reason I did that, and that can be something I can discuss with Lanella and Margaret, this field has the ability to add rich text, things like italics, bold, centered, list, that kind of thing. I removed it for the demo, but I can discuss with Lanella and Margaret if we want them to have that ability to style things to, you know, in those fields. When you style it that way, you have the ability to have a link.
Okay.
So that can be something I need to show Lanella and Margaret, because this is something we've added in the last week. I need to show them what that looks like if we want that ability, but for right now, I've turned it off.
Okay, so the next question is, will there be reports to show who made a change, member versus tech rep?
No.
That would be, I think that might be too complicated.
Yeah, that goes a little
Right.
further than the plugin can handle.
Yeah. And you will have, you know, multiple changes that each of the specific girlfriends can make on their own profiles.
Mhm.
However, if someone is going to be deleted, there will be steps that Amber will put together that will identify who requested the deletion of the girlfriend and when it was done. And that report should be CC'd to the chapter president. Just kind of giving you a little guidance on what I'll be looking for.
Right. If I delete somebody, I'm basically going to take their information and save it in some way for the chapter reps to still have a copy of what was there when it was deleted.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be a date on when they deleted it, who requested it. You know, there will be a record that way. So in case somebody does get deleted and they shouldn't have been, or if there's a problem, we have a record of, okay, this person requested it, that person needs to be talked to, you know, discussed with, why it was deleted, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But their information will be saved so that it's not lost forever. It's lost forever on the website, but the chapter rep will still have a record of what information was in there at the time of deletion.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hi, Amber. This is Tracy, girlfriend Tracy.
Hello.
Are you setting up governance around how we enter the data in? Like, for instance, let's just say here, New Jersey. Is that, you know, we want it to be in a formal way where the capital N and the capital J is there, as well as like in December, we want that to always be capitalized. Are we putting in, let's say, best practices around that?
Yes, ma'am. I went in and done that the other day just because there are certain things that need to be formatted. The state specifically has a list of all the states, including one province in Canada, because we did have one girlfriend in Canada, but this is already formatted. They just picked their state. If they're in a state or something that's not listed here, they need to contact me and I'll add it. But this does have all 50 states. It has District of Columbia and it has Saskatchewan, which we have one girlfriend in Canada. For everything else, like the phone number I have written as an example here, they need to format it with the parentheses. For birthday, they need to list the month and date. We're not having people's years in here, so it is listed there. Occupation, if they have multiple occupations, they need to comma separate them. Not all girlfriends did that in the spreadsheet, but from going forward, any changes need to be comma separated. So I did add instructions here that's present on the front end and the back end of the website on how to format everything. And we can add more information in here if we need to. Like, do we, you know, making sure that we do keep it as formal as possible. Don't have December in all caps. Kind of thing. You know, we can add that kind of language in here.
Okay, thank you.
And girlfriends, just so you know, as you know, we sent out the spreadsheet and to capture initial information. And then as we started uploading information, we realized that there were some additional fields that needed to happen, like other positions and things like that. So I guess my challenge to you is, as you go through this, and especially as you know, you're going to have access as of June 1st. If there are things that you think we missed, let us know, because that's the time to, you know, this is the time it's an evolution. And so if there are things that don't make sense, or things that we need to add, or things that, you know, you think we should include, just let us know, because, you know, and we'll evaluate it, obviously, to make sure that, you know, the system can handle it, and then we'll go from there.
And so I do want to stress, I keep saying that you're going to get your spreadsheet right back to you. Your spreadsheet, the way that it was before, has been edited to make sure everybody's consistent, because not everybody typed in their usernames properly. Not everybody typed in phone numbers. You know, we had 47 different spreadsheets come in. They were all different. But you're going to get your spreadsheet right back like this. So this is the Trenton one, and you'll see in the first column is all of the people's usernames. So this is a great high level look at your chapter, what information is currently in there. So you can see if somebody has missing information. So you can look and check this way. So all of it's going to look like this, except the last 3 columns are not going to be there. But you'll be able to see, so you don't have to click into every single girlfriend to make sure everything's correct. Or I would recommend you do that, because you'll have 2 weeks to do that. Just simply because we did have some issues at upload. For instance, especially with New Jersey and Trenton, and I think Connecticut was another one, it was dropping the leading 0 and zip code. So you do need to go in and check those things. But this is a great way you can see, at least at a high level, if there's anything missing, you know, how it was formatted, what needs to be done, especially for usernames and email addresses. And see, like Trenton does have one girlfriend that has that temporary email. So you know for her, she can't do a password reset. You're going to have to set that password for her if she wants access. So this is a great way that you'll be able to know without clicking into every single girlfriend. I still recommend for the first time, click every single girlfriend and double check every information. We're giving you 2 weeks to do that.
Right. And we're going to also give you a checklist of things that you should check.
Yes.
I think we came up with 10 things that, you know, like verify your chapter overview information, review the member data, make sure the month and, you know, photo match the name. Because, you know, after a while, 1,600 girlfriends start looking alike to me. But I did get to know you guys. Then looking at making sure that the login information is correct. The zip codes, as Amber said. So we will give you that checklist. The chapter officer information is correct.
Yeah.
If the person is a transfer, I think one of our committee members, she said, I think it was Rashida, said, I'm a transfer, but it wasn't listed on her Washington, the Washington one.
Right.
You know, make sure the daughter thing is connected to the mother, and then any past roles, and then the dummy emails. So those are the kind of things. We will have a list that you can use to kind of check your chapter information.
And so this is all going to be all in one big packet. We're going to send you all of this stuff, you know, all your username things to check. We're going to send you this spreadsheet. We're going to tell you specifically notes about your chapter. There's only like 5 chapters that don't have anything they have to look at. So the whole rest of you do have something about your chapter that you do need to look at to make sure is okay. But I did upload, I think it was 1,630 girlfriends, and 85% of them had photos. So please double check everything to make sure I didn't overwrite anything. You know, especially things like zip codes. That was something I caught. You know, make sure that people's pictures are with their names. I had to do each picture individually. So every time I did it, I was trying to match the name, but there were certain cases that I couldn't. There were certain cases that I pulled pictures from the directory for certain chapters. If I did that, you'll know which ones I did that for. So you'll get a big packet with everything that you need to do in those 2 weeks for your chapter to get it ready for the rest of the girlfriends to see.
And you'll so the question is spreadsheet going directly to Tech Rep? Yes, it is. It's going to go directly to you guys with all the member login. So it'll look just like this, along with the checklist, and also a sheet that says, here's what things we could do better. You know, like if, let's say your overview picture is blurry, you know, or it's not the right size, we probably put it in, but we might recommend that you use another photo, things like that. So we will give each individual chapter kind of their analysis, if you will. So.
Really, it's the most important thing is to make sure that they check and make sure that it's right. Like even looking at this, I've looked at this spreadsheet many times. I noticed that there's an issue already. Somebody's city has a comma in it. It shouldn't have a comma. So just you need to look at everything, because I did look at everybody's stuff. I did make sure everybody was correct. I didn't format everything, but we still found things wrong. Linella's name wasn't hyphenated like it should have been. We found girlfriends that had the same username. We accidentally overwrote them. So I tried to catch them as I could, but I probably didn't catch them all. 1,600 of them, you know, gets lost, and I still have 4 more chapters to upload. So those things do get lost, and so we're kind of trying to say, I've done what I could. I've spent weeks making sure everything is as accurate as I can, but ultimately it's on you as the tech rep to make sure that everything's right for your members before your members see it.
Okay. All right. Want to keep moving?
So here comes the fun part, getting to edit your chapter page.
Oh, she's asking, when will we get the packet? I think we were planning to send them out next week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's going to take a while to make 47 of them, but yeah, they'll get it before June 1st.
Mm-hmm. Now, girlfriends, when you go in on June 1st, don't start trying to break stuff.
But if you do, let me know.
If you do, just let us know.
But don't intentionally try to break it.
Right.
That's my job, and I did it an hour before this. I've already broke something on the site, trying to make sure that everything's as solid as it can be. And with a website, it doesn't matter how old the website is. There's always going to be bugs. You're never going to have a 100% functioning website with no bugs. So if you do find something,
Right, I was going to say.
please let me know, and I will do everything I can to get it fixed as quickly as I can, the best of my ability at least. But there are going to be things you're going to find. Just let me know. Hopefully over time that's less and less and less and less. But even websites that I've managed for 4 or 5, 6 years, we find new bugs, and especially with WordPress, it updates, it creates bugs. So just know that if you find one, please send it to me and Linella so we can get it fixed as soon as possible.
And as a added note, Amber and her company is not a one and done deal. We're going to make sure that on a annual basis, we have a maintenance contract with her, so that even if in 2022 we run into a problem, then we know we can go to her and her company to review it and to remediate it. So this is a long-time relationship. It's just not with the development and the training, but we're also going to secure an annual maintenance contract with her and her company.
Because I do, you know, with every client I work with, I do want you to have the best functioning website possible. I don't want things to be buggy. I don't want things to be hard to use. And so we are going to continually evolve this and fix things and change things as needed, so that everybody's happy with it and it gets better over time. So this is just the first iteration. So over time, we are going to make changes. We're going to add new things, fix things to make it better as time goes on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. So this next step is to actually change your chapter page. So I'm going to go ahead and show you Trenton's page so you know exactly what I'm fixing to do.
And this is only the tech rep can do this.
Yes, only the tech rep can do this, and we're going to show you how to do that, but I'm also going to show you a second way to change your girlfriend's information. So this is the next 2 things. But right now, I'm going to show you your chapter page, and then from there, I'm going to show you how to add a new girlfriend because they're in the same section, basically. So this is Trenton's page, but you'll see one thing I want to note. They have a lengthy information about their chapter. They may want to try to condense some of that down. You know, if a chapter has that, you'll see, because you see this box runs further than it should. So you'll see that, and you can make changes to it and stuff like that. But what you can do is, if you're on your chapter page, you'll see that they only have 1 picture in here. However, they have this lovely picture of their charter members that they also want to add. And so if you have this, or if you want to add things like this to your slideshow, this is how you're going to do it. So the best way to do it is you go to your chapter page, like we did here. At the top here, you're going to have an edit page button. Do you see that in the black bar? There's an edit page button. You're going to click edit page. Now, you will only be able to edit your page. So don't go try edit Buffalo's page or New Jersey's page. You don't have access to that. You only have access to this page. This is going to take you to the WordPress dashboard or the WordPress side of things. So here's where you can change anything to do about your chapter. Now, we talked about how you had a feature image for your chapter, the main image. This image is shown on the home page at the bottom. It's shown on that chapter page, and it is the first picture of your slideshow, okay? So this is a public picture, so just be aware of that. It's on the home page. So this is the photo that they have here, and I've already got it in here, but if you ever want to change it, you hover over it. Or first of all, if you want to change it, you'll just click remove. I'm not going to do that because then I got to put it back. But you'll click remove. It'll give you a button to upload a new one, okay? And I'm going to show you how that process works on this next one. So that's your feature image. You can change that at any time. It's going to walk you through the process of uploading it and cropping it to the right size. You can also add a description, and I'm going to show you what that description is. So there's a description here. This one just says Trenton chapter featured. So if this was a specific event or a specific time, like if it was at a conclave, you can add that detail. But where it says that is right here in the green at the bottom of every photo. So you can make a description for that photo for every photo in your slideshow. So here it says Trenton featured. This is where you would change that at. Now, to add slides to your chapters, some chapters we've already pulled pictures for you based on what was already sent in at a different time. Some chapters have slides, some chapters just have this one. But if they want to add a slide or change their slideshow, we're going to click Add Slide, and you see you have this dialog box pop up where you can add your image and add a description if you want. So we're going to go ahead and click in here. We're going to add their charter members. Now, I've already added pictures for them before, so that's why it's already in here. But I'm going to upload it again. So it's going to default to any pictures uploaded for your chapter, which should already be in your slideshow. You're going to click the Upload Files button, the tab on the top left, and you're going to click Select Files. And so we're going to add Trenton's charter photo here, and it's going to upload. When it's done and it's selected with a check mark, you're going to hit select, and now it's asking you to crop that photo. So you need to position this box wherever you need to. You can make it smaller or bigger. So you just need to make sure it's got cropping in there pretty well. You're not cropping anybody's head off. A lot of chapters had girlfriends on the left and right hand side of the photo that was cut off. I've noted that, so just be aware that some of your girlfriends in some photos are missing. So you may want to get rid of that photo or replace it with one maybe that's further back so it doesn't cut anybody off. But anyway, we're going to position this box exactly where we need it to be. So we're not cutting anybody off, or everything's in the photo that you want to be in the photo. And we're going to select crop. And you can see it added it there. So now I'm going to add a description. So we're going to add Trenton chapter charter members as the description. Okay. After every change that you make, you need to go up here and click update, okay? So that it updates and saves. So let's see how that looks on their page now. So now here's their featured image, and now we have their charter members. You see how that works?
A quick question, Amber. So when each time you add a picture, does that change the picture on the home page that's behind the circles?
If you change this very top photo here where it says chapter featured image,
okay,
that is the one that changes on the home page only.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anytime you're adding, but that stays the same, it doesn't change the photo on the home page. This is
Correct.
just adding stuff for the local
Slideshow.
chapter information. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I wanted to make sure that there was distinguished between what is going to be a public picture. And really that public
Correct.
picture is so small that you're probably not going to see people's faces, but I still want people to know that is a public picture seen by everybody in the world, that top photo. It's also the first one of your slideshow. It's also the one on the chapter page. So I've separated that out intentionally to draw attention to that.
Perfect.
So the question is, do they contact you directly or through me? At this point, since I am the tech chair, you would funnel any questions through me. That way I
Mhm.
can keep track of what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to Amber on almost every other day basis. So we will make sure that changes happen. And if there's a question, I'm always copying her if I respond back to you on things. So that was one question. Somebody asked, could they export information like name, address, phone, etc., to an Excel? We are,
Working on that.
yeah,
Yeah.
working on
It will not be available when the site goes live, but that's going to be something
it.
that comes hopefully in the future. As a site admin, I can export some things, and I'm still working on being able to export all things myself. But only site admins can do that. And currently I'm the only site admin, and anybody else that we designate,
Mhm.
you know, that's the highest level of girlfriends will have that access.
Yeah.
When it becomes available.
And one of the things we're trying to also figure out is how do we get it to merge with like MailChimp and things like that. So that if you wanted to do, let's say for Friendship Month, you wanted to send all the chapters something that you could extract emails. So we are working on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here we have the charter members, but I also want to show you again, adding another slide and how to rearrange your slides. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick a picture that we've already got in here. I think some of these we've already changed the photos on, so but this is just a temporary thing. I'm just going to type in Trenton chapter. You don't have to have a description on a photo if you don't want, but every photo should say at least your chapter name, is at least the way that I put them in there, but you don't have to have that. So let's say, for instance, in your instructions, you're going to see that I've put that you should have your charter members last. Basically, the way that we've organized it is it should be reverse chronological order for your picture. So the further along in the slideshow you go, the older the picture should get, if that makes sense. So to keep with that, what we're going to do is we're going to move this photo above the charter members. You see how I did that? So on the left-hand side, there's 1 and 2 here. You can click, hold, and you can move it. So that is how you can organize your photos in your slideshow, except for the very first photo. The very first photo you can't move. So if I have it in this example, the charter members will show up second, this other photo will show up third. But if I wanted that reversed and make sure the charter members show up third, you move them. So does that make sense on how you can organize your slideshow? Okay. If you want to delete a slide, you still hover over it, but on the right hand side you see there's this minus sign that I'm hovering over, and it says remove row. Okay, when you click it, it's going to ask for confirmation. Are you sure? And you want to click remove, and it goes away.
Amber, we have about 15 more minutes.
Okay.
Did you want to, so I don't know if there were other things that you want to cover.
The only other thing with your chapter page, since the slideshow is pretty much the bulk of it, you do have all these other fields that it's just text fields to change your charter members, your key civic projects, and your important facts. I do ask that you keep them very brief, just because you don't have a lot of room on your homepage. That very bottom field, I say do not change. If you change it for any reason, you're no longer going to have members on your homepage. I am looking at a way to hide that field from you guys, so you can't change it, but for now it's there. So just, I have instructions, do not change it. So by the time you edit it, you probably won't be able to change it anyway. But just know, charter members, key civic projects, important fact, you can edit, just keep them as brief as possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and click update here. So that covers your page itself, how you can edit your page. So the way you get to it is you navigate to your page on the website, click edit page at the top of the screen, and it takes you to here.
And
the other thing,
the technology people can get to that page.
Right. Your girlfriends can view the page, they can't edit the page. Only the tech rep can. And you can only change your page, you can't go changing anybody else's page.
And just out of clarification, after the 15th, once June 15th, after the site is launched, your members can change their own page.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. Okay.
So the final thing I want to show you is how to add a girlfriend and transfer a girlfriend to a different chapter if that comes up. So if you want to add a girlfriend, you'll need to go over to users on the left-hand side of whenever you get to here. Another way you can get to this at any point is up here at the top of the screen. You hover over girlfriends and it says dashboard. So if you ever need to get to the back of the website, back of the end of the website, this is how you do it. You click dashboard. But anytime you're on the dashboard, you always have this left-hand column here where it says groups and users. So if you need to add a girlfriend, you're going to click add new user. And so I'm going to add myself here. So I'm going to have that here. So really you only need the username, and it needs to be first and last name, or if it's a hyphenated name, it can be both of the hyphenated names, but first, last name, no spaces, no hyphens, no punctuation, all lowercase. And these instructions will be there for you to know how to format that. A website field you don't use. You can set a password if you want. I'm going to just go ahead and set girlfriends just for now. It's going to tell you if it's weak or not. So this is the same way that you would change somebody else's password. So from here, you don't need to change anything else. So really, username, email, first and last name, that's it. You're going to click add new user. It's going to refresh. And it's going to send you to the list of users. At the top of the screen, you'll see new user created, edit user. You're going to go in and edit. And here's where you can edit all their fields. So you're actually going to skip this first profile page unless you need to edit their password. The extended profile tab at the top, it has all the other fields that we talked about for the girlfriends in terms of their address, their city, all that. It has the same information, everything the same way. It has the same instructions on how to format it. So you'll go through, enter in all their information. So the first part of this has their girlfriend's information. The second part, their personal information. The second part has their girlfriend information. So you'll edit and add all of that here. So I'm going to add myself to I'm not going to fill everything in because we don't have time for that, but I am going to add myself to the Trenton chapter. So I'm going to select Trenton, and I'm just going to say I was installed in 2025, even though that's not possible. But you go in and do that fill out all this that you can. You can also, from here, change their photo too. So you can do it on the front end, or you can go ahead and do it now. So I'm going to go ahead and do it now. Click edit photo. I'm going to add my photo. You can also crop it here too. So you can click crop it. You'll get a preview, but you get a preview as a square, whereas the girlfriends get a preview in a circle. Crop image. It says it was saved. You can click update profile. So that's adding a girlfriend, adding all their information. Just
to clarify, somebody asked a question about when can tech reps be able to make changes. I want to be clear. It's when you get on June 1st, the tech reps can make any changes to their chapter information. The 15th of June, when we go completely live, that's when your members will be able to make any changes to their profiles. Okay? I just wanted to be clear.
So at this point, all you've done is added the girlfriend and you've picked that she's in the Trenton chapter, but she's not actually going to appear in the Trenton chapter until you do the second part. So this is a two-part process. Again, this process is going to be all outlined. But on the left-hand side, there's a groups function, and it's going to have everybody's chapter in here. You're going to search for the chapter that you need, Trenton. You're going to click edit. Okay, from here, you'll see at the bottom, it has all the girlfriends listed here. Okay. You'll want this section that says add new members. You want to type in their username. So my username was Amber Test, and it's going to pull it up here. You're going to click it, and then you're going to go over here and click Save Changes. Okay, to make sure that you've done everything correct, you want to go to your chapter page and scroll down here to make sure that they're listed. They're listed in alphabetical order from last name. So of course I'm going to be down here at the bottom. Amber Turner, I did Amber Test, but it still pulled up Amber Turner, so there I am. And you can edit their information again on the front end if you want. So that's how you add a girlfriend. To transfer a girlfriend, you do the same steps. You basically just go in, change their chapter, and then you go into groups. You'll find them in the group here, and you have a remove button. So if you want to take them out, you have to take them out of the chapter first before you can add them, or before the other tech rep adds it to their chapter. So if I'm being moved from Trenton to New Jersey, the Trenton person's going to remove me. The New Jersey person's going to add me.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and remove myself from here. So,
Mhm.
Al won't appear. I'm going to go back and show you that if you do not add them to the group function, even if they're listed as Trenton, if you don't add them in the groups, they don't appear. So as you can see, I disappeared on this chapter.
And if I can just add, as it relates to transfers, that cannot be done until you get your chapter president receives the official notice from the national secretary that it is recorded. You cannot make the change before the letter of request has been sent to national with the CC to the national president and sent to the national secretary. Once she acknowledges it and acknowledges that to both of the chapter presidents, the receiving chapter president and the sending, that's when you as the tech then can go in and make the change, not before.
All right. So we have about 5 more minutes left. Does anybody have any additional questions? Okay.
So the only final thing I have to say is that we are still working on small little kinks and things. And so we pretty much have everything in place, but if for any reason something changes, you will have the most up-to-date information on how to do it on your Tech Rep how-to page. So when you log in, you'll have a Tech Rep how-to page. Your girlfriends will have a separate page here. It'll say GF how-tos. So they'll have instructions on how they can edit their own stuff there. So the most up-to-date information, if something changes between now and June 1st, which is unlikely, but if it does, while we're still working on things, you'll get the latest information on that page, and we're going to constantly add to that page to make sure we're covering everything. But just know that anything that I talked about today, anything that could change, the most up-to-date videos and written instructions will be on this page. So you'll know how to do everything. If you ever need to, this is where it's going to be.
Yeah. And just as a last note, so we are going to be unveiling the website on May 22nd at the virtual conclave. And then on June 1st, tech reps will have access. You'll get your packets on or before June 1st. You will have 2 weeks to kind of play around and look at the information of your chapter's information and update anything that's kind of outstanding. Like I said, we'll give you a checklist. And then on June 15th, we will go live and all members will have access at that point. So with that, I think we're going to wrap up, guys. And I thank you for all your time. If you have any other questions, shoot them to me and we'll go from there. Okay, well, have a good night.
Thank you, girlfriends.